The woke side of the internet thinks going through someone's old MySpace account makes them part of the resistance. It doesn't. It makes you a punk. Colonel Alexander Vindman exposing the Ukraine fiasco. Noble. That's not you taking down the host of the Ice Capades. You're a loser with Wi-Fi and all the time in the world to listen to long-forgotten podcasts. You're not a journalist. You're just a creepy little rat. Go to Texas and catch a runaway embryo.
Bill Maher isn't backing down from his war against what he calls the cult of wokeism. And this time, he's turning up the heat. His newest targets are the self-righteous internet detectives who spend their days digging up decade-old tweets, desperate to destroy someone's career over a joke that didn't age well. Maher's takedown wasn't just sharp, it scorched. He went after the hypocrisy, the performative outrage, and the strange satisfaction these digital hall monitors seem to get from running other people's lives. In short, buckle up. This one burns hotter than a canceled influencer's apology tour.
Being a snitch, now it's not a bad thing. Oh, it used to be. Used to be one of the first things we taught children. Nobody likes a tattletale. But now, virtually any public accomplishment comes with the obligatory follow-up snitch story a few days later. Like what happened with that sad schmuck who was supposed to host Jeopardy. But fortunately, the honor of game shows was preserved when Squeal Team 6 went through his old podcast and found out he once used the term whatever the that means.
I honestly don't know when this became normal. When people who can't stand you suddenly turn into full-time online detectives, digging through your past just to find a single gotcha tweet from a decade ago. Somehow, this witch-hunting pastime has turned into a national sport, especially among the self-proclaimed saints of the woke crowd. It's no longer about justice or accountability. It's about humiliation, control, and flashing moral credentials for social media approval. The result is a culture so toxic that everyone's afraid to even breathe wrong online. But Maher isn't buying it. He's calling the whole act what it really is, hypocrisy dressed up as virtue. And believe me, his breakdown cuts deep. So buckle up, because this next clip is about to catch fire.
I'm sorry, Mike, but we, the perfect people who have never made a mistake, we just can't let society be sullied by horrible people like you. Bye-bye. Fans of cable news will recognize the rising journalist Alexei McCammond, who was appointed editor of Teen Vogue, but then had to resign before her first day when some of her high school tweets suddenly became too much to bear. Tweets like, "Now Googling how to not wake up with swollen Asian eyes," and, "You're so gay."
Exactly. People are getting canceled over harmless old tweets, dumb teenage posts, outdated memes, or throwaway jokes no one should take seriously. But the online mob hunts them down like sharks, twisting every word just to declare moral bankruptcy. Context and time don't matter anymore. It's not about accountability, it's about destruction. They don't want apologies, they want your career, your reputation, your peace. It's all about proving they're righteous in a world that's forgotten forgiveness.
And her resignation was endorsed by the hierarchy of the magazine, including the senior social media manager, Christine Davitt. Good for you, Christine. You helped catch the Zodiac. Oh no, you just ruined someone's career for no reason. Same diff. Funny end to the story. After Alexei McCammond resigned for her innocuous tweets, someone went through Christine Davitt's old high school tweets and, oops. Seems she tweeted the N-word twice to a white friend in 2009. Bye-bye.
And that's exactly the hypocrisy Bill Maher keeps calling out. These self-righteous internet detectives, the ones treating old tweets like classified documents, are often the biggest hypocrites in the room. Why? Because they're guilty of the same digital sins they love to shame others for. Their timelines are full of their own skeletons, cringe takes, bad jokes, and outdated opinions just waiting to be dug up. But they rely on everyone being too distracted to notice. Maher's point cuts sharp. If everyone were judged by their past, no one would survive. These digital inquisitors act like saints, while parading other people's mistakes as trophies. But the moment you turn that same lens on them, they crumble faster than a deleted tweet.
This is why I'm a little hopeful that this purity purge may end, because it's starting to eat its own. ESPN reporter Rachel Nichols was a feminist success story, but when she complained in a private telephone call about ESPN's crappy long-time record on diversity and expressed her view that she felt like she was being sacrificed by the network so they could make up for that crappy long-time record on diversity, the call was leaked and she was toast.
And of course, they eventually turn on their own. It's inevitable. Everyone said or believed something dumb at some point. That's part of growing up. You make mistakes, learn, and move on. Maturity should bring understanding, not public shaming. But the cancel mob doesn't care about growth. They thrive on outrage. They act like flawless saints who've never misspoken or made a bad joke. The irony? If the same spotlight turned on them, they'd crumble instantly. Dig deep enough into anyone's past, and you'll find something to condemn. That's why this culture always ends up eating itself. When you pretend to be morally perfect, you eventually choke on your own hypocrisy.
Now, in addition to the fact that a person shouldn't have to love getting fired, even if it does achieve more equity, this was a private call. Does private mean anything anymore? Apparently not. Even sadder, this love of snitching seems to be one of the few areas that is now truly bipartisan. Snitch Nation isn't about what side you're on. It's about this mindset where everyone is an amateur secret policeman and tattling is a virtue.
The former ESPN host's case is especially chilling. It wasn't even a tweet, just a private phone call never meant to be heard. But in today's world of digital tattletales, nothing is private anymore. One recording, one leak, and the mob descends. They don't want truth. They want a spectacle. It's voyeurism disguised as virtue, not about justice, but exposure and humiliation. And the scariest part? No one's safe. When private conversations can destroy careers, we're not living in a culture of accountability anymore. We're living under surveillance.
The woke side of the internet thinks going through someone's old MySpace account makes them part of the resistance. It doesn't. It makes you a punk.
There's nothing brave about ruining someone's life from behind a screen. That's not justice. It's cowardice with Wi-Fi. The far left calls it virtue, but it's really a digital blood sport. Bill Maher calls it pathetic. People who feel powerful only when tearing others down. Instead of creating or doing good, they hunt for their next gotcha. His point's simple. If your biggest impact is destroying someone's reputation, you're not a hero, you're a coward.
And Republicans lately, besides sponsoring that new reality show, Texas Zygote Hunters, have been encouraging college students to whip out their phones to record and report professors who espouse leftist ideas. As always, these snowflakes fall just as hard on the right as they do on the left.
Fair point. When the far right does it too, they deserve the same backlash. No exceptions. This isn't about politics. It's about fairness and the right to speak without being permanently exiled. America's supposed to be a marketplace of ideas, not a place where words become criminal records. No one, conservative, liberal, or your weird uncle tweeting at 3 a.m., should lose their future over something they said years ago. People grow, views change, and that's how it should be. Let the past be context, not a life sentence. When either side turns into moral vigilantes, they both cross the line. This isn't defending bad speech. It's defending the right to be imperfect and to evolve. Censorship pretending to be virtue isn't courage. It's cowardice with better PR.
Colleges pride themselves on being safe spaces, not for professors. At least not any who might want to stretch young minds to think differently and try on new ideas. Yeah, try that at your peril. Same with comedy clubs, where ever since the iPhone, comics have been complaining about snitches in the audience who'll rat them out for crossing the line, which is practically the job description of a comedian.
Comedy isn't safe anymore. The far left has turned it into a minefield where every joke risks cancellation. Say one thing outside their shifting rulebook, and you're done, clipped, stripped of context, and dragged online. Even Kevin Hart lost his Oscar gig over old jokes he'd already apologized for. That's not accountability, it's madness. Comedy used to unite people, helping them laugh at life's absurdities. Now it's treated like a crime scene, with every word dissected. The result? Comedians scared to take risks, and audiences too fragile to remember that laughter was meant to set us free.
Comics are joking constantly. Even some people who aren't comics do that. And if you're lucky enough in life to be around people like that, I'm sure you know, they can't all be gems. Sometimes you get the twisties, and the joke doesn't land just right. Exposing that doesn't make you noble.
Maher hits back at the far left with blunt truth. Real courage, he says, isn't found in digging through old tweets. It's in stopping real harm, not chasing ghosts for moral points. He draws the line where it belongs, between protecting people and persecuting them. The cancel crowd likes to think they're heroes fighting evil, but they're really just bounty hunters for human imperfection. What they call accountability is just public humiliation disguised as virtue. Maher calls it what it is: shameful, petty, and deeply un-American.
You're not David Kaczynski, the brother of the Unabomber who turned in his own brother lest any more mail bombs go off. That was noble. Or think of Edward Snowden, enduring exile in Russia so he could expose unlawful government snooping. Noble. Colonel Alexander Vindman, exposing the Ukraine fiasco. Noble. That's not you taking down the host of the Ice Capades. You're a loser with Wi-Fi and all the time in the world to listen to long-forgotten podcasts. You're not a journalist. You're just a creepy little rat. Go to Texas and catch a runaway embryo.
In the end, Maher's message is clear. This culture of digital snitching and moral outrage is tearing society apart. What started as accountability has turned into public shaming, where people aren't punished for crimes, but for being human. Everyone said something dumb or regrettable. That's life. But the internet never forgets, and the mob never forgives. Maher's fight isn't about defending bad behavior. It's about defending free speech, sanity, and nuance. He's saying what most are too afraid to, that comedy, free thought, and expression are under siege. And if this madness continues, no one will survive the purity test. Outrage always comes for everyone in the end. So if you enjoyed the video, hit like, share it, and subscribe for more no-nonsense commentary. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.